Are some styles of music more appropriate for worship than others? Gilbert Kanji shares his perspective on using instruments to praise God.
As I travel the world for youth ministry events, there is one issue that I get confronted with just about all the time: music and worship. I don't intend to resolve this in 90 seconds, but just one perspective. My education and my journey in music started very early. As a born-again young Seventh-day Adventist, after giving my heart to Jesus, I had left behind things that I had associated with the world. I used to play in a soul band. I used to play bass guitar. And so there was no way I was going to bring this in my worship of God, because that was part of my previous life. And so I only used the acoustic guitar and the piano regularly at church. But one evening, a bunch of friends invited me to go and attend an evangelistic program that was run by a group, Youth for Christ from South Africa. And when I went there, I was really shocked, because they were teaching Jesus with the backing of the band, with all the instruments that I had left behind. So I went and talked to the leader after the program and said, "What are you doing in my country?" He said, "Well, we're teaching about Jesus." I said, "Teaching about Jesus with those instruments?" And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "I left these instruments behind because those are instruments of the world." But then he said to me, he said, "You know what? I have never used those instruments except for the worship of God and teaching about Jesus." And he said, "The problem is not the instruments. The problem is the association that you have with these instruments in your mind." That was a confronting question, and it set me on a journey that caused me to review the way I looked at the use of instruments in worship. Just a perspective for you to think about.